Morning everyone, it's Audrey Stitching 42. It is Thursday, May 14th. This is the start of my retreat vacation. And I thought that I would do a stitch with me, although the way I have the camera set up, you can't see what I'm stitching or what I'm doing. You just see me sitting in the corner, which Mark thinks I belong in. But anyway, like I said, this is the start of my retreat vacation because today I was supposed to be flying to Boise, Idaho to go to the Pacific Northwest Prim Stitchers retreat that Melanie Smith, Yarns and Threads, puts on. But then the Rona came along and things have been canceled. And I know it's not just me who's had to cancel going to retreats. Everybody is having to cancel the early retreats. So when it was decided that this retreat was going to be canceled, I decided to go ahead and still take the weekend off because I work every weekend. And I decided, whether I get to actually go to Boise or not, I want a weekend off. I deserve a weekend off once in a while. So I'm staying at home. I'm being good. Since I'm not going to the retreat, I decided that maybe I could get some yard work done. And I have been getting some things done outside. I've been showing pictures on Instagram, and I'm stitching on my Alphonse Mucha, by the way. I'll show it at the end. I have been working out in the yard. I've been showing some pictures on Instagram and the little video clips that I've been managing to put on the end of my videos or the beginning of my videos or someplace in my videos. Okay. You're with me, the brain's not fully functioning right now. So my neighbor, I was talking with her, and she had pointed out to me that my snowball tree was leaning. And sure enough, I looked at it, and if you looked at the base of the tree, which trees aren't straight, okay? Trees aren't straight. But instead of being as close to straight as it was now leaning towards the front of our property a lot. And I posted a picture of that on my Facebook page, and Cheryl of Stitching with the Sisterlies, her husband is an arborist, and she asked me to send some pictures so that she could show him and ask him some questions. She came back and said, Ed said that it really needed to be trimmed. We were given this snowball tree for our daughter that we lost. So this is Sophie's snowball tree, and we've had it She was born in 91, so it would be 29 years and a lifetime. Anyway, Ed said that it really needed to be trimmed, and I asked if there was any possibility that he could come take a look at it, and was told that I'm too far out of their area, but they recommended another tree service in Salem, and I just got off the phone with them a little bit ago. So I will be having an arborist come out next Thursday to take a look at not only the snowball, but hopefully the maple out front and the cherry tree in the backyard, which is way overgrown. That tree's like 30 feet tall, and I know they're not supposed to be that tall. Obviously, Mark and I don't know how to take care of trees. I didn't know. I didn't know. So the snowball will be taken care of. Other things that I've been doing out in the yard, I had purchased for myself 3 clematis, and I showed pictures of them on Instagram. And then last Saturday, on my way home from work, I stopped at Fred Meyer because they have a garden center, because I was looking for trellises for them. I wanted to plant those clematis out along the front fence so that they will travel along the fence, but I still wanted to have trellises to help them have something to attach to. So at Fred Meyer's in their garden center, I found this trifold metal trellis, and the price was a bit spendy, but it had a sign right next to it that said, trellises, 40% off. So I asked the gentleman who was working the cash register, how much that would bring the trellis down to. And he told me, and he goes, plus anything over $50, you get $10 off if you have a reward card. So I got it for half price. Bonus. So I'm now carrying this metal trellis out to my car. My car is a 2005 Ford Focus hatchback. When you open up the hatchback, the rear shelf that's underneath the window is attached to the hatchback so that when you open the hatchback, it comes up too. There's still about this much space between that shelf unit and the door, and that'd be plenty for me to slide the folded up trellis into and put it in and get it over the passenger side seat. That was my plan. As I'm putting this trellis through the back, it hits the front seat. This is the top of the headrest on the passenger seat, and I wanted it to go over. So I pushed down on the back of the trellis to make the front lift up, not realizing that if I push down on the back of the trellis, I'm pushing down on that shelf, which is attached to the door, which made the door come down and hit me in the head. Oh my God, that hurt so bad. I actually felt what I thought for a moment was bleeding, but I didn't cut myself. I didn't do any damage like that. I'm good. I have a hard head. It hurt, but I'm okay. So I got the trellis in the car. I went and I sat down in the car, and of course, you know, when you sit in the car, it shifts the weight of on the frame of the car. So now the trellis falls from the top of the headrest and hits me in my right shoulder, and I'm like, there were words. There were words. They weren't the pretty words. There was words. So I drove home using my left hand on the steering wheel and my right hand holding this trellis, keeping it pushed back up on top of the headrest to keep it from sliding both forward and sideways. Yeah, I do stuff like that. It seemed like a good idea at the time. I got home, Mark was there. I asked him to get the trellis out for me. I explained what I did. He cut the trellis apart for me. Like I said, it was hinged, so he cut the hinges off. So now I have 3 separate trellis, and he attached those to the fence for me. He dug the holes for me so that I could put the 3 clematis in front of the trellis. He dug up 2 crocosmias for me and then dug 2 new holes for them. So I got all of that done in the front yard. I had also purchased from a local lady in town. She had posted that she had some canna lily rhizomes, and she was selling them for $1 a rhizome. I don't know whether that's a good price or not, but I figured for $5 to get 5 canna lilies, yeah, I would do that. So I had picked those up earlier in the week. They're sitting down on the front porch right now in a little tray of water so that the roots have some water. And my plan with them at the moment, is to get them planted into a whiskey barrel I have in the backyard for a couple of reasons. I have no idea how tall they're going to be, and I don't know what color they are. She thinks they might be red. So I figured for this year, if I let them grow in the whiskey barrel, I will get the answer to both of those questions. And then I can figure out, based on how big they are, whether I plant them up front or if I leave them in the backyard to get some needed color back there too. Because the only time of the year my gardens look good is spring. That's when everything is first blooming, and I've got all the color that you've seen on the videos. My plan now is to start filling in with bulbs and plants, perennials, that have more color than just blue, even though blue is my favorite color. And that will bloom later in the season, late summer, early fall. So I was hoping to be able to do more work out in the yard on my retreat vacation, but it's pouring down rain outside. You might be able to hear it, I don't know. And it's supposed to rain all weekend. Oh well, that's fine. It's all good. I have 6 days where I don't have to go to work. I've already told them I'm not answering the phone, so please don't call me because I won't be answering the phone. I'm on a retreat vacation at home because of the Rona. So I've been sitting here in the corner of my craft room, and I know you're all wanting to know what's happening in here, so I thought, that's why I'm doing this video, is pretty much to tell you what's going on in here, because things are happening. I had shown on one of my previous videos, the little one that I did with the update of the crafting burrow, that Mark has got the baseboards in, and he was using clamps to hold the baseboard against this side of this wall on both sides, because the back of the bookcase wall, which is what this is, can't nail anything into it because it's just hardboard, and the other side is the bookcase shelves. So he had to glue it in place, and he used clamps to press it against the wall. Since then, he's put in the light up here, which is why this room is so bright. It's just a regular shop light, but what he had to do here, God, you can't look at it very long because it's bright. When he did the library side, he put in a false beam because this room, both these rooms have a sloped ceiling, so they've got a peaked ceiling. So he put in a false beam that runs across there. On the library side, that's where the dome light hangs. And in here, we decided to go for a shop light. So he bought a piece of cedar to replicate the same type of cedar as used in the library, to replicate the false beam up here. But this one, when he put it in, it's actually hinged up here because he had to run power from the light in the library to make this light work. So it's nice. When I walk into the library and I turn on the light in there, it also turns on the light in here. But this shop light also has a hanging off-on switch. So if I'm not in the crafting burrow, I can turn the light off in here. But in order to have the light on in here, I have to have the light on in the library. Does that make sense? They're connected. This side I can turn on and off from in here, but the power comes from the library. So I have light in here, and this room is only 66 square feet long, big. This light lights up the whole room and will be plenty of light in here for crafting. And then he started working on this. This is the pegboard. And he's been saying a lot of those not so pretty words because he's trying to do all the cuts to make sure that the edges are right and everything. And he has a piece of, oops, that's too long, cedar trim here. He's going to cut it down to trim out all the edges and make it look pretty, because that's the way my husband is. When he works on something, especially for me, he called me today. He's at work today. He hadn't been working the early part of this week because it's been raining. And he calls me this morning to tell me his plans for how he's going to do things in this room to make it look good for me. God, I love that man so much. So much. He takes care of me so much. But things are starting to show up that will be going into the room. The bed frame is going to show up today according to Amazon, and that's going to go on that side of the room. Tuesday night, I was in a Zoom meetup with some of the ladies from around here, and we were talking about what's happening in here, and Lori gave me the word that I couldn't think of. It's going to be like a trundle bed, because I want to have a shelf that will cover part of it so that I can display things against that wall. But then I want the bed to be able to be pulled out from underneath of it so that when our son is down here, or when one of my granddaughters wants to spend the night, the bed can be pulled out from underneath the shelf like a trundle bed. I'm so glad that other people can supply me with the words that my brain can't, because, you know, I'm telling you, they just disappear. But the bed frame is supposed to be showing up today. The drawer units that I will be using for floss storage, I think I told you in my last video that they have arrived, whereas I wanted them to be black. They sent me pine. I'm not going to deal with returning them and trying to get black ones. Since they have to be put together, part of my plan was this weekend I could put them out in the driveway and paint them, but it's going to be raining all weekend, so it's not going to happen this weekend. But the next dry days that we get, which I think are next week, I can get those done and they can be put in. We have ordered a freestanding AC unit to go in here, because during the summer, this room and the library, this room is upstairs on the south side of the house, and it gets warm. Very, very warm. This freestanding unit is small enough that Mark can make a stand for it. It can stand right in front of one side of the window over here, but it will be powerful enough to keep not only this room, but the library much cooler as long as I leave the Hobbit door open. So things are happening up here. And I can't wait. I'm so excited. It's so close, and yeah, it's getting there. It's being done when Mark can work on it, and that means I have to be patient, which sometimes is not the easiest thing for me to be, but at the same time, I know that Mark is doing this for me. He made a comment earlier in the week. How did he word this? He goes, I'm not doing this because I expect you to pay me back for this or anything, but I've spent X amount of money on your room upstairs that's supposed to be in the Willie's fund for taking care of his Jeep. And I looked at him, and I know he's not trying to cause an argument or anything. He's just, telling me he's spending his money. And I said, Mark, I have the money for this room, and I will gladly pay you back for it. But I would like to also point out, since you brought this up, that this was supposed to be my Christmas present from not this past Christmas, but the previous Christmas. And he goes, I knew I should have kept my mouth shut. Yeah, we do things like that all the time. I'm so appreciative of the fact that the man can do stuff like this for me, and yeah, I appreciate what he does for me, and I try to be patient, which is not always a strong point. I'm a Taurus, and we're stubborn and obnoxious and obstinate, and I think you guys know that about me. So anyway, this video is just a short little stitch with me update. I actually was stitching on my Alphonse Mucha. I hauled everything upstairs so that I could do that. And then of course you didn't see that I was working on anything, but I have proof. This is where she's at. I'm working up in this area, and right now I'm working down this side of the border. And yeah. So I hope that everybody stays safe. I know that states are starting to open things up. I am really hoping that people don't get crazy and rush back out and do things, because I don't think this is behind us just yet. So everybody, take care of yourself. Do the things that you have to do. If you have to be out of your home, please wear a mask. Please take care of yourself. Please keep social distancing. If you can afford to stay home, please stay home. Take care of yourself. Do what you have to do to take care of yourself. Whether you're at home or you're out and about, please be safe, because I don't want to lose anybody to the coronavirus. And you have all become my family. So this is Audrey, Stitchy Witch 42, signing off from the crafting burrow. It's getting there. Live long and stitch on, my friends. Bye-bye.